So guys, I saw a interview with Callum Smith talking about Billy Joe's chances against Canelo Alvarez, and he basically implied that, listen, I'll always support a Brit. I'll always get behind a Brit, and I wish Billy Joe all the best, and I want him to pull it off. But he said that he feels that Canelo will have too much firepower for him, and he'll stop Billy Joe Saunders late on in the fight. From what he was saying, he didn't say, can openly say it, but he basically was implying that. Well, actually, he did say. He said it. I feel that Canelo will have too much firepower for Billy Joe Saunders. What do I make of that? What do I make of Canelo saying that? Listen, I expect Canelo to stop Billy Joe Saunders. A lot of people that keep saying that, Canelo won't land a glove on Saunders and all that rubbish, nonsense. If he landed punches on Lara, who I believe is more slicker, who's faster, who's actually a technically more sounder boxer than Billy Joe, then I definitely feel that, Canelo will land punches on Billy Joe. I do think Billy Joe's style will give him trouble. And I think Billy Joe also, the reason why I think Billy Joe Saunders isn't going to just fold like Callum Smith. And when I mean fold, listen, Callum Smith did the best he could. I just think that, he got beat by a different class of a fighter in Canelo. I'll say this. I think Billy Joe Saunders I think Billy Joe Saunders is a lot more confident individual than Callum Smith. Even though I think Callum Smith could beat Billy Joe Saunders if they fought. And I saw a lot of people making out like Callum Smith's a bum now because he lost to Canelo and Callum Smith's no good and he was overhyped. A lot of people are just saying that because they think Billy Joe Saunders, they're trying to big up Billy Joe Saunders. Callum Smith could beat Billy Joe Saunders just because of the sheer size, the power that he's got. He punches harder than Smith. I'm sorry, punches harder than Saunders. And that sheer size would be a problem for Billy Joe Saunders because Billy Joe Saunders is going to try box. You see, Ryder, he made it a fight in a phone booth. He basically, in my opinion, didn't give Callum Smith any space. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't fight like that. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't get on top of you and make it a fight on the inside where it becomes a phone booth type of fight. Billy Joe Saunders likes to box. Billy Joe Saunders likes to stay at range. How is he going to do that against Callum Smith? How is he going to school Callum Smith, move away? And Callum Smith's taller than him. Callum Smith has a laser-like right hand, right? And Billy Joe's head movement is nowhere near Canelo's head movement. Canelo's got unbelievable head movement. Basically what Canelo did, he walked Callum Smith down and he beat him up. He walked Callum Smith down, made him miss, was doing it in an educated way. It wasn't crazy walking in. And he made Callum Smith miss while doing that. Billy Joe Saunders don't fight like that. Billy Joe Saunders can't fight like that. Billy Joe Saunders can't walk Callum Smith down, can he? It's a completely different fight. People making it out like, here's the thing with boxing, styles make fights. Billy Joe Saunders isn't going to look to walk Canelo down. The reason why Ryder and Canelo were tough for Smith is because I feel Smith struggles against somebody walking him down, making it a fight in a telephone booth. I think he struggles against that style. But when you look at guys like, I know Hassan and Dan was finished, and George Groves, then you could say George Groves was past his best. Those fighters were trying to keep it at distance. Callum Smith, when you keep the fight at distance, he uses his height and reach effectively. The problem is with Smith and Ryder, Canelo, not Smith and Ryder, Canelo and Ryder, is that they didn't give him any space. They walked him down. They were backing him up. He was against the ropes. And I don't think he fights good going backwards. And we saw that. They made it a fight on the inside and he was struggling. But at distance, right? And that's how Billy Joe Saunders is going to fight. I don't see Billy Joe Saunders mauling you like that. So Billy Joe Saunders is going to be keeping the fight at distance and looking to box Smith. So again, the Smith-Saunders fight will be a tough fight for Saunders. That's not an easy fight stylistically. Styles make fights in boxing. And Canelo is brilliant at adjusting to different styles. He's proved that throughout his career. Now, Canelo would, in my opinion, Canelo may early on, Billy Joe Saunders might be able to cause him a bit of trouble, a couple of rounds. Might not even be able to cause him any trouble. I'm not saying he may do, he may not do. Right? We've seen guys that are good movers, fast of hands can cause Canelo trouble, but Canelo adjusts. And the problem I think Billy Joe Saunders will have is that as soon as Canelo finds out that this man can't hurt me, right? He's not going to hurt me. Canelo's going to start putting serious pressure on him and start walking him down, right? And Canelo will do it in an educated way. He's not David Lemieux. Canelo will start putting a lot of pressure on him. He'll start bashing up the body because he will land shots on Billy Joe's body, slowing those legs down. That's what he's going to do. He's going to start bashing the body, slowing those legs down. Exactly the same thing he did with Lara. Exactly the same thing he did with Khan, right? Let's not forget Khan was a lot faster than Billy Joe. His feet are a lot faster. His hands are a lot faster, right? He had to slow Khan down, which he did. He slowed Lara down. Lara fight was close, but again, Lara's a supremely gifted fighter. A very, very good fighter. And I think he's way harder to hit than Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe's a lot easier to hit than Lara. Lara's a very hard guy to land punches on. Very hard guy. I don't think Billy Joe's as hard to land punches on. I'm being real with you guys. And I think Canelo's got better since he fought Lara. He's an even better fighter now. So what Canelo's going to do, he's not going to go for Billy Joe Saunders' head. That's something that David Lemieux didn't do. David Lemieux doesn't have that boxing brain. Canelo's going to start smashing up the body. He's going to start smashing up the body because he knows when I smash up the body, firstly, I'm going to wear him down. He's going to become tired. His legs are going to slow down, right? As Teddy Atlas would say, putting water in the basement. That's what he's going to do. That's what Canelo's going to do. He's going to put water in the basement. And that's going to start slowing Billy Joe Saunders down, right? Listen, I've got nothing against Billy Joe Saunders. You know, I'm just giving you my honest opinion, breaking those two guys down stylistically. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders has the power. I think Canelo's too good a boxer, right? Just to let Billy Joe Saunders box rings around him for 12 rounds, right? He's too aggressive, right? He's going to be on Billy Joe Saunders' case for 12 rounds. And I don't know whether Billy Joe Saunders has the stamina, the fitness to deal with someone like Canelo pressuring him for 12 rounds with that kind of power, with that kind of boxing ability. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is going to be able to beat someone like that. I just don't. You know, this isn't David Lemieux. This is a far, far more skilled boxer than David Lemieux. A far, in my opinion, bigger puncher, better variety of punches, a better pressure fighter, a better boxer. You know, he can box Billy Joe. You know, he's got better defense than David Lemieux. He's going to make Billy Joe Saunders miss. I guarantee you, right? He will make Billy Joe Saunders miss. Right? I told you this in a previous video. Amir Khan has faster hands than Billy Joe Saunders. He made Amir Khan miss. And Amir Khan is a very accurate and very fast combination puncher. Billy Joe Saunders' hands are nowhere near as quick as Khan's. He made Amir Khan miss with punches. I'm telling you, go back, watch that fight in the fifth or fourth round, right? I saw Amir Khan throw combination punches. He was landing a lot. Don't get it twisted. Khan was landing a lot of punches as well, but there was certain times in that fight he made him miss. So, and look at the Callum Smith fight. I know Billy Joe Saunders is faster than Smith. Callum Smith struggled to land punches on that guy. And Callum Smith's a good boxer. I'm telling you, Billy Joe Saunders he's going to struggle to land punches himself. I guarantee you Canelo's going to be landing more punches than Billy Joe's is going to be landing on Canelo. That's my take. Because, again, a lot of you are underestimating. You look at Canelo's feet or slow feet. Yeah, he ain't got the fastest feet, but his feet are educated. He knows where to place them in order to get his shots off. And he doesn't need to be fast of feet. He knows he's going to bash up that body. He's going to target the body. Because when there's a moving target, right? And a guy and a body attacking the body is dangerous, especially when you're fighting a puncher, because you could get clipped. You could get clipped, right? But the thing is, Billy Joe Saunders isn't a big puncher. So Canelo's going to be aiming for that body. He knows getting headshots are going to be difficult, especially early on, because Billy Joe Saunders is going to be moving. But the body is there. The body's there, and Canelo's going to target that body. He's going to look to bash that body up. As I said, put water in the basement, slow Billy Joe Saunders down. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to go for the head. Even with Lara, he was investing in the body. He was going for the body because he knew he was struggling. With Khan, the same thing. He was going for the body. He wasn't looking for headshots. He very rarely landed any shots on Amir Khan in the 6 rounds. You could probably count on your hands how many punches he landed on the head. Most of the punches were all body shots. If you look at all the fast guys that Canelo's fought, Lara, Khan, all the guys that were movers, that were fast of hands, fast of feet, he was attacking the body. He was attacking the body to slow the guys down. And he's going to do exactly the same thing with Saunders. He's going to do exactly the same thing with Saunders. He isn't going to invest time on the body. With the head, he's going to go straight to the body, looking to slow Saunders down. Because as soon as he slows Saunders down and tires him, Saunders becomes a sitting duck for him. As soon as you take away Saunders' movement, he's a sitting duck for Canelo. Simple as that. He's a sitting duck. So this is why I keep saying that I think Canelo will stop Saunders late, because I think he's not going to go for the head early on. I think he's going to go for the body. He's going to look to slow Saunders down. As soon as you slow Saunders down, the fight's virtually over. Because then Saunders becomes a sitting duck for Canelo. And that's why I think Canelo beats Billy Joe Saunders late on. This isn't hating on Billy Joe. Billy Joe's a good fighter. Of course he is. He's a good fighter. I'm just breaking it down stylistically on what I think what's gonna happen. Now, if Billy Joe outboxes Canelo and proves me and probably 90% of people wrong, let's not forget, there's probably about 10% of people that think he's gonna win, maybe even less than that. Right, so he'll be proving me wrong. Like I said before, if he proves me wrong, I'll make a video saying I was wrong. And Billy Joe Saunders is way greater than I thought he was. But again, like I'm just telling you on what I've seen in their careers so far, that's how I think the fight will go. I don't think Billy Joe will beat Canelo. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think he's going to beat Canelo. I think that David Lemieux win was very overrated. He was against a guy that was tailor-made for him. Canelo's not tailor-made. Like I said, how many body shots did David Lemieux throw? He's not good enough. He had been outboxed and manhandled before by guys before Saunders fought him. So I personally think Canelo's a different beast. I even think this old version of Golovkin could beat Saunders. Just because Saunders is going to struggle to keep away for 12 rounds against these type of guys. Golovkin is an unbelievable pressure fighter. He's got very good feet. I know he's older, but I'm telling you, Golovkin's still too dangerous for Saunders. Still, I would feel that Golovkin could knock Saunders out because there's too much pressure. There's too much pressure. Can Billy Joe Saunders keep someone like Golovkin off? Golovkin's too good a boxer to just let Billy Joe Saunders box rings around him for 12 rounds. And so is Canelo. They're two good They're two good boxers. They looks like what they're doing is, they're not wild. They're not wild. This isn't a guy that you're just gonna go in there like Lemieux and just box their ears off. They're very technically good themselves. It's just that they're vicious in doing what they do. They're very good. Mike Tyson wasn't just an animal. Mike Tyson was an educated animal in that ring. He wasn't just a vicious guy that went in there and just destroyed everyone. He was very good. He was technically very good in there. His feet were good. His hands were good. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't just a wild guy that's going in there and bashing guys up. He was technically very good. And same with Canelo and Golovkin. Golovkin and Canelo are technically very good boxers alongside being big punchers. And it's very difficult to beat guys like that. Especially, like I said, Saunders doesn't have that kind of firepower to keep them off. And that's a big problem. And I don't think he's as physically as strong as both of those guys either. So I think there's a big problem. I think it's a late stoppage. But again, if he proves me wrong, I'll hold my hand up and say I was wrong. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. Make sure to smash that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.